You guys for staying late. Had a chance to, add a couple very athletic, talented players who are also the kind of guys we want in this locker room. So we're pretty excited about a good day today. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Was your plan kind of overnight going into the day to double down at the cornerback position, or was that just how the board sort of?
No, it wasn't a plan. I think it was just one of those things where it was, we got lucky and we're able to take a player we didn't expect to be there.
Hey, Brian, I realize you can only take,
Right.
one guy with each pick. But in going with the corners and the coverage guys, no pass rushes in the first 3 rounds. You talked at, I think it was the combine, or maybe it was the owners' meetings about how important the pass rush is. What do you think of where you are with your pass rush right now?
Yeah, I do think it's very important. I don't think you can fill all your, it's not about filling holes. It's about just taking really good football players, which I think we did today. Obviously, we have a whole day tomorrow with 8 picks, and I think we have some guys that probably weren't able to show what they can do last year as much as we would like to. Some of the guys we've taken, Reggie Gilbert had a really good end of the year, and Beagle, I think we'll look to have a good second-year jump. But I think there'll be opportunities tomorrow or even, further down the line for that.
Brian, I know you probably like the idea of having that first pick tomorrow.
I did.
You can reset things. But was it just this guy? You had to go up for this guy in particular, and that was worth the price?
When I acquired it, I knew it's a valuable pick, not only to sit there and see what happens overnight, but also people want to acquire that pick as well. So I knew it would be a valuable pick, and it was. And we, as the board started to kind of thin out in some spots, we felt really good about going up and get Oren Burks. So.
Brian, would Burks have a role 7 years ago in this league as kind of the size, but with the emergence of this kind of a hybrid type of player, is there more of a need for him now in this game?
I think that because of his athleticism, there's more of a need for guys like him. At the same time, this is no small man now. I mean, he's over 6'3", he's 233 pounds. He was the #1 tester on our, the inside linebackers on our board. So he is not small by any means for today's inside linebackers. We think he's very versatile in the fact that I think he can play both inside spots. And we think his best football is ahead of him. He's the athletic gifts he has, and his 2 years of experience as a linebacker. We think it's all heading in the right direction.
Brian, you were on obviously on the 13 corners a few years back. It didn't really work out. Why do you think it'll work out better this year?
Yeah, I think those are 2 completely different situations. We the two corners that we picked at yesterday and today. We're really, really high on their upside. They're very good college players. They're very good athletes. So I wouldn't really want to compare the two, and and I wouldn't necessarily say that was a disappointment either. We still have one good player from that draft, and we expect big things from Quentin, and the previous player that was here is a talented player. So rosters evolve, and this was a chance for us to kind of really beef up our secondary, and we think we did that.
With that said, were there lessons that were learned from going through that experience in 2015 that you were able to apply in the same thing this year?
Not so sure there's a lot of lessons there. I'll say this. I think, the wiring of the football players we bring into this building is really important. And I think the 3 guys have had a chance to take so far kind of fit what we're looking for, and how they approach the game, and their mental makeup. So I think those are important things. I don't necessarily think that we learned that through that process, but I think that's important.
Brian, when you were looking to move up into the 3rd round, were you pretty sure someone would take Oren Burks, or was it a case where you would just be kicking yourself if you took the chance and he was gone at 1-on-1?
A little bit of both. As the board kind of started to get to a point where we had a few players up there we thought were worthy of moving up to go get, we decided that it was in our best interest to go do that. We did it, and quite frankly, how the board fell, looking at it right now, if we would have had that pick, we're really happy that we went up to get Oren. So.
Is that about where you thought he'd go?
Yep. Yeah. Athletic linebackers like him that can do so much, not only in the run game but in coverage. They're just really, really hard to find, the versatile ones. There's a lot of guys that can do one thing really well, but both those guys are tough to find. So.
Alexander had a bunch of interceptions last year, back in 16 in Jackson this year. Is that a big focus? Is playmakers?
I think Yeah, that's always been a big focus for us in our defensive backs since Ted's been here, is their ball skills and ability to take the ball away. I think when we've been at our best, in the last 10 years on defense is when we've been taking the ball away. Certainly with Charles Woodson here for a certain period of time, that was a big emphasis, and we were really good at it. And the more stops we can get that way and get the ball back into our offense's hands, the better we're going to be. So it certainly is an emphasis, and it always has been.
When you look at those two on film, Alexander and Jackson, what are their similarities as corners? Do they contrast quite a bit in their play style? What do you see as far as how they can play together?
I think some of the similarities, they both excellent ball hawks. They find the ball not only coming forward but with their back to the ball. Certainly one's taller, longer player. One's probably a little bit more twitchier and explosive. I think they both have the versatility to play outside and in the nickel, and they've done it in college. It's not something that we're projecting. It's something that they've done. So there's some similarities, and when they stand next to each other, you're not going to see them. But I think from their play style and their play temperament, there are some similarities.
Is it important for them to be able to play both perimeter and slot, or is it maybe easier to say, because your skill set, you project more here to the interior, whereas you project more to the outside?
We've always talked about having versatile players throughout our team. One of the nice things about having guys that can do both is when there's injuries. I think it's when you kind of have one particular skill set that doesn't lend itself to another, then it can jam you up as a team. So I think having the ability to do both allows that freedom when injuries occur.
I think you mentioned last night, obviously not being done with the one and
Mm-hmm.
two more guys on defense. These first 2 days of the draft, what do you feel you've done for the Packers defense in 2020?
I think I've added competition, and I think that's what we're really trying to do here is add competition. We think that's going to bring out the best in all of our players. It's roster building is a continuous thing. This is a great weekend and probably one of the best opportunities to build your roster. But we think we added some competition, and we added it with the kind of people that we wanted to bring in the building. And we're pretty excited about that. I mean, it's, this community and this place is a special place, and we want to bring the right kind of guys here. And I think we did that over the last couple of days.
Brian, when you do that, I mean, you've talked about that a bunch of times now since you took
Mhm.
over. Do you sometimes pass on talented guys because of that? I mean,
Oh, sure.
And why do you think that's, because Ron has had some, Ron brought some guys in that weren't such great guys.
Mhm.
Why have you made that a priority?
I think it's it's unique to each and every player, right? It's I don't want to say it's like a sliding scale, but I think that there's certain things, traits in the player and the person that we look for that we think will make us a better football team, quite frankly. And that's what's important. We talk about football character. There's lots of guys will make mistakes, through their college years. That's pretty normal thing. Probably most of you guys in here did as well, But their football character's got to be the kind of guys that we're looking for, And I think that's really important. If you're not passionate, if you don't love the game, this is a tough game to survive in. And the three guys we added, I think, all the kind of guys that love to play.
What did you see in Jackson's game where he made so much progress to come up with 8 picks, 2 against Wisconsin
Right.
last year, to have that kind of skill?
He's a long corner with excellent ball skills. He played behind a couple NFL corners there at Iowa, so he didn't probably have as many snaps early in his career, but he just broke out this year. And when the ball was in the air, he's one of those guys that has an excellent knack for going and getting it. He's a loose, fluid athlete. He has good speed. Obviously has the length we're looking for. So we're, he's again another guy that I think his best football is ahead of him.
Brian, were you intent on him, or when the 49ers moved one spot ahead of you, you guys had Pedersen for a visit, the
Mhm.
receiver from Washington. Did that change anything, or were you going Jackson?
No, yeah, like I said, we were pretty surprised that Josh lasted as long as he did. So we kind of, again, you're playing through all the scenarios as we started to get close to our pick, and you had a certain number of players, kind of A, B, C, D. And we really liked Pettis from Washington, but our A was there, so we went with it.
There's the old adage, you're always getting better, you're always getting worse on both sides of the ball.
Sure.
You have to fight the idea that you're throwing a lot of capital at your defense
Mhm.
here, but you haven't added anything to your offense. Clearly you've got one of, if not the best player in the game on the offensive side of the ball, but do you feel pressure to gotta help him too, you gotta help that side of the ball.
Sure,
You're watching
yeah.
this guy's ball.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel pressure, but we're obviously always looking to do that. And as you go through and you have the different options that you have, those things come into play. At the same time, you want to take the best player available. I think you can get a little bit sidetracked if you start thinking that way. Certainly, when things are equal, those things come into play more as far as maybe filling a need. But right now, especially early in the draft, I think it's more about let's take the best player and the best people we can get into the building.
So, in 2012, Ted came down here after he picked 6 straight defensive players and said, because he could only do it, that's just how the board fell.
Right.
Last year,
Yeah.
you guys picked 4 straight defensive players to start the draft. That's just how the board fell.
Mm-hmm.
So are you telling us that that's just the way the board fell tonight, too?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Again, there were options at each pick tonight, and it's my job to kind of decipher through that. And I felt really good about the way the board held up and the way it has held up. And but yeah, that's again, I think if you do the work and if you prepare the right way, you allow the board to talk to you. You not to it. I think if you start trying to massage it during the weekend, I think that's you're getting into some dangerous waters there.
What does that mean when you say the board held up? What is that for lay people? What does that mean?
Yeah, I think it's just when you build the board like that, it gives you the options you think you're going to have.
Brian, which is the skill position been picked up to this point for 3 rounds? Offensive skill positions.
Offensive skill positions. I think there's some opportunity there tomorrow. We'll see how it goes, but there's good players still up there, and we'll see how it falls.
You've got a long wait for tomorrow's pick, huh?
Mhm.
And obviously you got a lot of picks after that.
Sure.
In a perfect world, would you like to maybe try to do some moving up, or just kind of wait to see how it plays out?
Yeah, we'll be on the phones, and if it makes sense, we'll certainly, we have no problem pulling the trigger to do it. There's a lot of movement on day 3. There always has been, and so we'll look to move around. We have a lot of picks, so I'm sure we're going to field a lot of calls, and we'll maybe making those on as well. So it, they'll be pretty much from about 8 a.m. tomorrow till it's all over. So I would expect to move at some point.
Hey, Brian, what happens tonight after you leave us? Do you guys go up there and reassess the board, or do you just sleep on it till the morning?
I go home, get 2 beers out of my garage fridge, and hope that the door's not locked, and try to get a little sleep. We'll come in early tomorrow morning, and tomorrow's a big day. Not only do we have 8 picks, we'll sign a certain amount of undrafted free agents, and then we also do our rookie minicamp roster. So, for scouts, it's probably one of the best days because all the work of all the players we get to, we're going to add a lot of players to our 90-man roster tomorrow, so we're pretty excited about that. But there'll be a lot more prep work tomorrow morning. We feel pretty good about where we're at and the plan we have in place. But we'll get together tomorrow morning and knock some of that out. Our scouts will really come into focus tomorrow once the 7th round ends, because that's when our UDFAs, and those guys are the stars of the show. Something that I've done plenty of times on my own, but this is kind of their time to really to affect our roster more than some other times. So they're pretty excited about that. They've been working hard on it.
Brian, we don't know Patton very well at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What's he been like as you pick 3 defensive players? I don't know if he's in the room or you go down the hall
Mm-hmm.
and tell him what's the dynamic then, and how's he react?
He's been, they've been involved. The defensive coaching staff has been involved, obviously, from the meetings on, and he's been great. He's been thoroughly impressed with kind of his vision and where he sees our defense going.
Getting that 3rd round pick, did that go okay, or tense moments trying to get in there tonight?
I don't know if they were tense. We obviously, as soon as we picked at 45, we kind of had a game plan of how to get up, and it was all dependent on what players were going to be there. We kind of felt we had a range of where we thought we could get. We thought kind of getting in the 70s was going to be tough, but we knew we had a lot of opportunities through the 80s, and that's kind of what happened. We had a bunch of opportunities there. Came to a spot where we felt the value was right, and the player was right, and had a couple different options on the table and took the best one and went with it.
Are teams calling you regularly about that fourth round pick at the top? Are you getting
There's
them
both. Yeah, there was both. I mean, teams were calling us. as, you know, last night and this morning, and then we were on the phones too, trying to, you know, see what we could do. It wasn't just about that pick; there were other picks involved as well. But yeah, it was a lot of back and forth, and like I said, we felt we had good options once we got into the 80s.
Is trading 2 extra picks to move up at that point, is that just too much?
It depends on the player. It really does. Like if it, you know, if it was the right player, I don't think I'd hesitate to do it. But that's a lot. I mean, you start giving, you know, 2 away. You know, but if it was the right player, you know, it wouldn't be too much.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yep.
Brian.
Thanks, guys.